So Wai Chang-ho explains that Il-hak has announced that he'll be distributing the rights to Korean organizations, which means that there is no place for outside forces like them to step in. Here Korean organizations will take over the business in the southwest, and asks if that means they're telling them to leave. Koo Chang-jin angrily slams his fist down, saying they're going to did all the work just for someone else to take the reward. Wang Hao, head of the Black Dragon Triad, says that's why he called him here, and that there is a way, so Chang-jin asks what he's thinking. Wang says the Chungwon store was one of the businesses in the southwest area of Il-hak. However, Il-hak collapsed and they went bankrupt. Even the boss couldn't find where it was, which is why they take over the Chungwon Trading Company and are trying to manage the business jointly. Chang-jin asks what they'll do of the boss and that it wouldn't be any different if one of them did it. Wang says he found Chungwon's daughter or descendant, to put it easier, who'll be the new boss and is 19 years old. Chang-jin says impossible since she's too young before Cha Yunhwa enters the room and introduces herself as the president. Wang says they'll change the name to be global as well and dismisses Chang-jin's concerns, saying he'll take good care of her to make sure Chungwon never falls, and tells Chang-jin to not worry so much. Back in present day, Cha goes to grab Yisu's held out hand but stops and stands up herself, saying she can at least do this much. She looks at the bodies littered around the corridor in shock and asks if all this was done by them three. Yisu asks where Zealand is since this place is in such a condition, suddenly reminding her as she goes to call her before an injured man says he got lucky, and that he should have killed them all today, and that the innocent Baek Dogyeong will probably die without its owner today, which she reacts to in shock. Meanwhile, as they're driving, Zealand asks the driver how long it'll take for them to get to Tison and if they have to sit like this since it's cramped, telling the two guys sitting next to her to get out and ride in a different car. They apologize and say the car behind them is full as well, so she tries pushing them out, telling them to run in that case, so they ask her to please hold out a bit longer since they're almost there. The guy in front remarks that she's unusually sensitive today and asks if something happened with the boss, so she shuts him up, boldly saying nothing happened, but they all understand that something has happened. The guy asks if she told her this and says they'll be the ones getting punished. He asks if she got angry without thinking, but she replies that the boss is acting really frustrating. The others say she's planning something, but Zealand replies that's just indecisive, and that it's the subordinates who live or die following the order, so she should give them the order to live or die. She says they have to become an organization that follows his decisions, so they should either stop her or kill her. The guy asks if she thinks everyone will like that. She sighs and remarks that she's dull and says they've been going in circles for a long time before getting ready to take her blade out, but the guys beside her grab her hand and the one in front punches her in the face. She tells them to hold on tight unless they want to die, and the driver says they don't want to die, so she kicks him in the face, causing the car to crash as she smashes the two guys holding her into each other and remarks that they'll make good cushion. As the car comes to a stop, she gets out and starts beating up all the people that get out of the other vehicles behind them, menacingly declaring she's Baek Dogyeong of Tianxing. Wang says it took 10 years for them to approve outsiders like them as one of Seoul's major organizations and for them to take control of the Southwest District, under the guise of Chungwon. They shed blood, sweat and tears to make it this far, and asks what Chang-jin what the hell all this is, as Chang-jin's sitting on the ground, heavily injured with his fake hand lying nearby. He asks Wang to hear him out since Chungwon's done for anyways. Wang tells him to not give him all this. Chang-jin asks if he knows that the government's meddling in their affairs with Project One Sync, a project that will give the government control over all the shady businesses and how they're divided. He says the world's changing. Every shady organization will fail, and Chungwon won't be an exception since everyone will swallow it whole in the absence of the General Assembly, so they should team up like before. Wang grabs his outstretched hand, repeating that every organization will fall and Chungwon won't be an exception, hearing which Chang-hun starts convincing him before he asks how he can possibly think of something that stupid, crushing his fingers. He says he remembers the words Chang-jin said to him 10 years ago, that it's just a little girl's organization, and asks if he remembers what he said, repeating that Chungwon will never fall. It's the most brilliant flower that blooms at night and the most fierce poisonous flower. He holds a blade against his hand and cuts a finger off as Chang-jin desperately tried to plead with him. A week later, Shin asks someone standing beside him if he got it wrong and says he thought they helped Chungwon, but these guys look ready to stab them if something goes wrong. The man says their boss was ambushed and several of their own turned out to be traitors, which is why they need time to make the decision of whether they'll become friend or foe. In a room, Wang says he must first apologize, saying their boss was going to come attend this meeting with Tison, but due to some personal circumstances he had to come in her stead. Yisu says the free currency exchange manager came instead and asks whether he should take it as a joke or as the fact that he's the one who holds the power. Wang laughs, saying the conversation won't take this long if he takes it like this and that he'll get straight to the point then. He asks if they would like to work together with Chungwoon. He says they've figured out the series of events with Project One Sync and will hold hands with Teesun. Yisu says that's not something he can decide by himself since Teesun is an affiliate organization of Ilhak. Wang says they've already figured everything out and that they shouldn't just involve the puppets. Hearing this, Yisu says it's been bothering him for a while and asks if he wants Teesun to be under Chungwoon. Wang remarks that a young man like him shouldn't be so narrow-minded and tells him to look beyond the picture of Chungwoon. Meanwhile, Zealand slowly walks through the raiding hall and asks the Tianxing men where Wang is, so they tell her that they're inside before the guard with Shin gets in front of her and asks her to refrain from entering since their boss is inside. She takes out her dagger, asking who he is to boss them around in her own house, and ignores his comment of being patient, so he starts taking off his coat, saying he sees that their fight is inevitable. Shin tells him to just let her in, asking what the worst is that she could do other than throwing tantrums and spouting profanities, hearing which she lodges the blade beside his head in the wall, saying she'll knock out his other arm as well. He asks what other arm she's talking about as he holds his dagger dangerously close to her stomach and says he got so scared that he was actually about to stab her before Wang asks Zealand what she's doing, hearing which she angrily walks away. Once Teesun's left, she tells Wang that Cha Yuwa has disappeared. As they're going back, it's revealed that Cha is in the car with the guys from Teesun as Yisu explains that Samhab's trying to get into Korea through Chungwoon and welcomes a pleased Cha into Teesun. Meanwhile, Wang angrily holds up a wrapper, remembering that it's the same as the biscuit the kid from Teesun liked, and angrily says this changes things. 10 years ago, a young Cha Yuwa timidly gets out the gate with her friends, asking if they're not here before they hear a voice and turn around in dread to see Zealand angrily getting out of her car, saying she knew she'd do this and asks if she didn't already tell her to get out the back gate and grabs her collar, asking if she's got to make detours to find her, but her friend asks why she does this every day, threatening that she'll call the police if she keeps doing this, to which she tells her to go on and do it and asks if she doesn't know about when and where to get involved. Cha says it's okay and tells them to go on, so they worryingly leave, saying they'll message her and to tell her if something happens. In the car, Cha asks her why she does this every day, saying she'd said the boss thing would be taken care of, to which Zealand replies that's what she's doing and asks what she's going to do if she really gets kidnapped, saying an 18-year-old girl became the official head of Chungwoon and what if there is an organization that really wants to kidnap her, asking if that isn't the perfect prey. She says the place she sets foot in is that kind of place, and that it's a miracle they see each other at the school gate, so Cha says she won't avoid her, and will listen to her, so she should try to at least be a bit nicer. In present day, Wang tells Zealand that Cha will be under the care of Teesun since he found a wrapper belonging to the Teesun boy on the spot, and asks if Zealand knows what that means, saying they're going to use her to get the upper hand in the Junseng meeting. He gets up and says now that the situation has come to this, they need to consider if Cha Yunhwa really knows the true worth of Chungwoon. As she arrives at Teesun later, she tells the driver to go to the basement since they'll invade from the bottom. As they hurry out of the car with their weapons, Yisu asks her why it took so long and says she needs to consider the people waiting as well. He throws her the glasses, saying this isn't something that can be resolved through fights, and tells them all to drop their weapons. Once they've done that, he takes them to a room where Cha is standing. Zealand rushes in, asking how she got kidnapped, but Cha says she came here on her own, leaving her shocked. Chungwoon asks what she's doing, so Cha says she's tired of being the boss of Chungwoon and can't do it anymore. She says she always believed that as long as she was surrounded by Zealand and the people she knew, she could stay as the boss, but now she can't forget the gaze of how the people she once believed in looked at her, and asks why she came to find her and if she wants to kill her as well. Hearing this, Zealand is initially shocked before wrapping her hands around Cha's neck and saying that's a good thing. After taking care of the former boss, Chungwoon will take over the entire Seoul area before embracing her and saying if she forgot who Zealand is, saying she got abandoned when she was 3 years old and later decided on her as the boss. She says as long as she's there she won't let anyone touch Cha, which is her will and pledge, and that no one can break her or Chungwoon. Cha suddenly gets away from her and in disgust and asks what she's doing, to which she angrily asks her why she isn't checking her messages, so Cha replies that her phone's battery is dead. Meanwhile, Wang is sitting in front of Jiorang's representative, Ryu Taeyong, and team leader, Jang Sungho, to whom he admits that he doesn't have any information on him before Jang pleasantly greets him. Wang says their Chungwoon was attacked by Taesun not too long ago, and their boss, Cha Yunwa, was kidnapped. Jang says they'll definitely team up with Chungwoon against Taesun and asks if he knows of Taesun's two twins, Baek Dogyeong and the director, Baek Yisu. Hearing this, Wang takes his cigarette